The galaxy was old, filled with empires, species, and civilizations that stretched back millions of years. Entire archives of wars and alliances lay carved into nebulae and frozen into ancient Dyson shells. To the galactic community, humanity was not particularly noteworthy. They were a new species, barely 2 centuries beyond their homeworld. Their physiology was fragile. Their technology, though ambitious, was crude compared to most spacefaring empires. Their culture seemed strange, built on humor, curiosity, and an almost reckless tendency to push against danger. Still, the consortium welcomed them into its councils, if only as a token of diversity. After all, what harm could such soft, hairless primates cause? The observation. Ambassador Dreval of the Vokrians sat in the amphitheater of the Galactic hub. His compound eyes narrowing as a holostream replayed the latest human colony transmission. The footage showed a group of human children, no more than 7 cycles old by their species' reckoning, exploring a forest on their colony world of Caro 9. "Observe," the instructor said, flicking one claw toward the feed. "This is why humans are classified as non-threatening." On screen, one of the children, a small female, dark curls bouncing as she ran, stumbled across a feral predator. The creature was a Carroan bloodmaw. 6 legs, jaws lined with barbed teeth, armored plates along its spine. A predator that even trained soldiers approached with caution. Gasps filled the chamber. The child bent down, lifted a heavy stick, and without hesitation swung it at the bloodmaw's snout. The predator hissed, stunned more by the audacity than the blow. The child laughed. Not the nervous whimper of prey. Not the shriek of terror. She laughed, loud and unafraid, eyes shining with the thrill of confrontation. The bloodmaw lunged. She dodged, struck again, and then chased it as though it were some kind of game. The creature, apex predator of the continent, turned tail and fled into the underbrush. The girl laughed harder, tossing her stick aside as if the encounter were no more significant than skipping stones across a pond. The footage ended. Silence fell across the amphitheater. Ambassador Dreval twitched uneasily. She was unafraid. "They are children," the instructor replied. "And yet they confront predators with play. This behavior is unsettling." The reassessment. The consortium convened an emergency session. For millennia, they had underestimated humanity, filing them under harmless omnivores, prone to erratic but trivial behavior. But the footage suggested something else. A delegation of species offered their perspectives. The Kreelan scholars argued that humans were reckless but would mature into caution once they suffered losses. The Zyranth tacticians disagreed, noting that laughter in the face of danger implied a neural structure attuned not to avoidance, but to engagement. The Vokrians, with their long evolutionary history as prey, shuddered at the footage. To them, humans were aberrations, creatures who inverted the natural law by laughing at threats rather than respecting them. At last, the chair of the consortium made a statement. "Perhaps we have misjudged. If even their cubs treat predators as toys, what does this say of their adults?" Humanity responds. Unaware of the alarm their actions had caused, the human delegation to the hub continued with business as usual. Ambassador Riley, a broad-shouldered man with streaks of gray in his beard, noticed the wary stares but shrugged them off. During a break, a Zyranth officer approached him. "Is it true that your cubs play with predators?" Riley chuckled. "Kids? Yeah. You should see Earth's history. Wolves, bears, big cats. Our children have always had this habit of poking at danger. Drives the parents crazy." The officer recoiled. "And this does not frighten you?" "Of course it does," Riley admitted. But fear's just part of the fun, isn't it? You learn to face it. We don't raise our kids to run from the world. We raise them to wrestle with it. The officer left disturbed. Riley returned to his seat, unaware that his casual remark was echoing through the consortium like a war drum. The records of Earth. Archivists began reviewing humanity's history more closely. What they found horrified them. Children dared one another to leap from heights into rivers, despite the risk of drowning. Games involved chasing each other with sticks, rocks, or even blades in early eras. Some trained themselves to fight in controlled combat for fun. Others domesticated predators, not just taming but forming bonds with wolves, tigers, and raptors. One Creelan scholar whispered, "Their young do not merely survive predators. They seek them out as entertainment." And when they grew older, humans invented contests of violence, entire cultural rituals around simulated battle, all disguised as sport. The consortium grew uneasy. A pattern emerged. Where other species avoided risk, humans embraced it. Where others viewed predators as fearsome, humans saw challenge. The crisis. It might have ended there with mutterings and caution, if not for the events on Drenner 4. The planet was a neutral trade world, heavily populated by dozens of species. One evening, a pack of raiders, bioengineered mercenaries bred for intimidation, descended upon the main settlement. They towered over civilians, their tusks dripping venom, their claws capable of shredding alloy plating. The civilians panicked, scattering in terror. The raiders advanced unchecked, until they reached the human district. The raiders expected screams. Instead they were met by laughter. Not from soldiers, not from warriors, from children. A group of human youngsters playing in a courtyard saw the towering predators as something new, something exciting. One boy grabbed a discarded pipe, swinging it like a sword. A girl picked up a loose stone and hurled it, striking a raider in the snout. They laughed as if it were a game. The raiders, unsettled by prey that mocked rather than fled, hesitated. That hesitation cost them dearly. Human adults poured from nearby buildings, emboldened by their children's defiance. Armed with little more than tools, pipes, and raw fury, they swarmed the mercenaries. The other species watched in stunned silence as frail, supposedly harmless humans fought like cornered beasts and won. By the time consortium security forces arrived, the raiders were either fled or broken. And at the heart of the victory, the children still laughed, their faces streaked with sweat and dust, as if they had played the greatest game of their lives. A shift. Word spread quickly. No longer did the consortium see humans as harmless. They saw them for what they truly were. A paradox. Fragile bodies, yet unbreakable spirit. Creatures that laughed at predators. The Creelans called them the Defiant. The Zyranth labeled them Predator's Mockery. The Vokrians whispered a new name in dread, the Laughing Death. Ambassador Riley received the news with mixed feelings. On one hand, humanity now had respect. On the other, that respect was born of fear. "We didn't mean to scare anyone," Riley explained in council. "It's just who we are. Fear doesn't stop us, pushes us forward. Our kids show it best. Before we teach them to hide it, they face the world with laughter." But the damage, or the revelation, was done. The galaxy understood now. Humans were not prey. They were something new, something unpredictable. The end of underestimation.